Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the stream. My name is Christian Clausen, and I'm the author of the book 5 Lines of Code. In Chapter 7, we're discussing how to utilize the compiler to help us find errors. This is because I believe that one of the tools that we have available to us anyway, without any setup, without doing anything, is the compiler, and we should just utilize it as much as possible. And so in accordance with that, I like just doing stuff by hand, having exercises to go through, having to learn in that way. Also very much in style with what's in the book Coding Dojo. It's about having spaces where you can learn and practice and stuff. In that book where they define kata, at least where I learned it from, they're very much focused on test-driven development, and often refactoring is a part of that because test-driven development and refactoring go sort of hand in hand. But the katas we're going to make tonight are sort of going to break that rule because we're going to instead focus on how to use the compiler, another way to ensure quality. And I feel like it should be okay to call something a kata if the goal is to actually increase the quality of the software that we're building. That seems like it should be the goal anyway of anything. I'm hoping I can see the chat also live over here and interact with it. I have it open, but again, since this is not my main channel, the integration with all the tools that I have is not as great as it would normally be. But I also have my own channel where I stream twice a week. So if you like my style of coding or my mood or whatever, hi Transpiler, welcome over. You can jump over to the channel. It's the Dr. Lambda. Other than that, I think we should just jump straight in and get started with the coding. So I'm going to jump down here to the right and we can just get started. I'm in my favorite editor, my editor of choice, Visual Studio Code, and we're going to make a repository for exercises for Chapter 7. And I'll just make sure I have my notes visible over here. We're going to be doing this. So we're going to be building a repository, and in that vein, we're going to have it accommodate different styles of languages. We're not going to just do TypeScript like we would normally. What we definitely need is a README. It's all uppercase, right? That's what people prefer. Markdown file for a Git repository. Then we're going to have TypeScript. And it's my hope that we'll also at some point have other languages like Java and C# probably, maybe even C++. I just am not expert enough to make them in C++, and I doubt we'll have time tonight to make all of them. So let's initialize a repo. And what else do we need? We need also to initialize, well, inside the TypeScript folder, we need to say TypeScript init, and we need, do we need npm? I don't think we need npm for this project at least. We're going to be going through the different strengths and weaknesses. First, probably the strengths, because they're sort of easiest to make exercises for from the book from Chapter 7, as I mentioned. And the first one that we're going to do is reachability. So we're going to make this into some sort of a game, if we can. And I know we're going to have multiple of each one, because that's when you learn something, when you're in a learning environment, it's very nice to have multiple things to sort of test things on and to see what's the similar, what's different, where are the boundaries of this thing. For the reachability analysis in TypeScript, it's actually fairly simple. It's it checks that a method has to have a return value, at least if you specify that it has a return value. So let's just make a function. Also, you get to see the process that goes into making examples and exercises for a book like mine. So if we have something here that doesn't terminate, like true, something like this, console log, it doesn't really matter what it's doing, in loop. And then if we try to do something down here, console.log, it should tell us that this is unreachable. And it does, unreachable code. So that's one variation of reachability testing. I think we can also do another one. If we say we have, we would like a completely opposite example where it thinks we can reach the end, but we can actually not, I guess. So the common way to do this is to use enums. but we can do it with strings as well. Let's just do with an enum first. Color, I guess. I have an example in chapter 7. I don't remember if that's color, if it's something else. Red, green, and blue. Everybody knows those are all the colors that exist. We all know that, right? So red, green, and blue. Then down here we can say switch on, if we take a color as input here, we can say switch on the C. Then we can say case color.red, return red. So I guess this is some sort of a toString method. It seems red, green, blue. And now here, will it say that this down here is unreachable? Yes, it will. Good. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. So what's the return type of this now? It's string. So it does figure out that it's unreachable in both cases. What if I actually try to compile it? Does it give me errors? No, it just says okay. Is it in strict? It is in strict. Can we do null check? All of these are strict, right? Yeah, always strict, 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 strict. No fall through cases. Okay. That's all fair. Yeah, okay. Fine. Red, blue, green. No, green. Blue. Over here. Okay, so we would like it to actually error. So to get this to error, in this case, we can use a special function that I also introduce and talk a little bit about in the book. It's called, I call it assert exhaustive. Really, it's not super important what it's called. What's important is that it takes a never and it returns a never. Never is a special type in TypeScript that says, that is only introduced once you've exhausted an opportunity. So down here, I should be able to say, we can never get here because C is exhaustively checked, which it says, if we were missing a case here, then it would actually error. Yeah, it would say, this is not never. There is a value that we have not tested. Does it not say which value? I thought it would. C, no, it just says, it doesn't even say anything. It just says, no, one error. That's a very, very low effort error message of TypeScript to give there. Okay, but it does error, and that's what's important. Color is not assignable to type, never. What if we have this in, I wonder what if we have it in as if statements. Does it then recognize it? Foo bar baz is the next thing, I guess. So if C is equal to, equal, can never have enough equals in JavaScript languages or PHP. Rain here, and that one is gone. Does it tell us? Yeah. So it's actually, no. Oh, it does tell us up here that it's blue. In both cases, it tells us this is blue at this point. It's not never. So we are not checking exhaustively in these two cases. Is there something we can do up here where it would be never? What actually could it be? Can we do assert exhaustive on this? No. This is not a good value. What else can we do? Just a string? Just anything? No. String is not assignable. Yeah, I would guess so. So we would need to have something of type whatever. It doesn't matter because it should determine it does not. Ah, interesting. Okay, so we cannot use the assert exhaustive up here. Is there another way we can get an error from this reachability check, I wonder? Well, these two examples are sort of similar also. Is there anything else that would be interesting to test with this? It does tell us that it's unreachable. So how can we make it error? We can make it error if we, I guess this will be our first exercise here. It doesn't error if we do this, but it does give a compiler if we do this. So can I duplicate this? I guess I can. So the first one, let's clean it up. We're just gonna give people that one. We're also gonna say export with an empty, because I think that way we can have multiple files next to each other without them interfering with each other. We're gonna want this function in multiple files. And so this just says, don't go outside, don't share anything in the global scope, just for scoping. Well, yeah. So let's hope that people ignore this line. Then we have an enum with some values, and we have a toString here. And it shouldn't error. That's sort of the whole exercise of this. So, okay, we're starting to form the rules of the game. So we should do that next to this. First, it's going to be called compiler, katas, probably with a lowercase c, I guess. We'll have a how to contribute. This is actually something that I think is important, and a lot of people sort of miss, or a lot of teams in the industry sort of miss doing sort of what we call inner sourcing, where we have in all of our repos, we have a barrier to making a repo, and that is how to install, how to run, usually how to test, and how to contribute, so that all of the rules of the game are sort of described in a similar, consistent fashion across everything. So for this one, it's not going to be, we're not going to run this and we're not going to test it because it's a kata. So it's how to play instead we're going to do. And so in each case, in each file, there is an erroneous, I couldn't spell that, erroneous function. It is your job to make the compiler discover this. See this? So this handles sort of the negative case, right? So in the case over here, we can make the compiler error by, I guess by saying this has to return a string would be one way. So that way we can trigger the type system to do it. Yeah, huh, interesting. Interesting. Funny. And what else can we can also use the function from up here. So I guess should this be two different methods of fixing it? Because here if I add blue, it's gonna work, right? Yeah, so it's happy with if I add it. Interesting, interesting. There are two solutions. I guess either is fine. So we can say that each thing here starts with a small description. All of the files are gonna be have different stages of the compiler that they're gonna target. This one is targeting reachability, as can be seen from the name. Let's make it a header of some sort. I don't know. How do we make a header that stands out with sort of ASCII art? I guess we could do full-on ASCII art. Yeah, ignore that line. Reachability. The function toString does not. Well, is it fun to describe sort of the story behind the function, or is it fun to just describe, hey, you have to do this thing? I guess we could do something like, we have just someone, it's never us, right? We don't do imperfect code. Someone has just added a value to our color enum. let's wrap this to our color enum. But forgotten to fix the toString function. In this case, it's a function because we have the function keyword here. I want to stay, I should mention also, if we're doing Java and C# at some later point, I want the exercises to be as easy to port back and forth as possible. So we have to stay within sort of what Java and C# can do. Reasonably. Can you make such a mistake into teach the compiler, let's say, teach the compiler about the connection between the enum color and, well, I don't know. Can you make it a compiler error to, can you make the compiler see this? Can you make the compiler see this error? Understand this error. So then we could say, we could give a hint. I guess there's no way to really hide a hint, is there? They're gonna see it. So how are we gonna handle hints? We could just do like a lot of extra lines. Can you make the compiler catch this error? Can you make the compiler catch this mistake? Is that better? Thanks, Transpiler. I agree, yours was better. I would love to do this, but I'm pretty sure my formatter is gonna pop it right up. Surprise stream, welcome to the stream, Jens. Welcome over. I guess, I mean, it is a surprise to more regulars because I am very bad at announcing things, but it's actually been on Manning's, it's been announced from Manning's side for months. I guess that's also sort of why I put it at the back of my mind and a little bit forgot about it. Don't tell anybody. Until this week. Okay, hint. Use return type. That's one way to do it in TypeScript. So in that case, we don't need this one. And I mean, here we've fixed it, so that's not correct. Here we have, we can't really name it something without giving away all of the secret. Hint use assert exhausted. I guess that should be, yeah, I guess here it should be using only what is in the file. It does make sense for the first example to be the one, this is a hint already, right? There is no need for a hint if we're using the assert exhausted. But there is a need for the thing here, using only what is in the file here. And then we'll remove it from here, and then we'll give the hint, use the return type. Guess they forgot about it too, given the stream title. Yeah, I mean, I just would love to be like a super moderator or something so I could change it myself. It is a little unfortunate. I don't understand how it happens. Happened last time also. This time though, as opposed to last time, the stream should not crash even a single time. I'm hoping. I've upgraded my internet several times since then. I'm running on a wire tonight, and we've done a test stream beforehand, so everything should be smooth and flawless. I'm hoping. So, someone has just added. I feel like to accentuate this, we'll put it at the next line. Maybe we should, I think this is accentuated enough. We'll have to go back and forth and format these as we learn how the best way to do this is. can you make the compiler catch this mistake using only what is in the file? So here, yeah, there's a hint at the bottom. So I guess we can do like this to sort of make people not see it immediately. If they scroll down and see, oh, there's a hint, I'll scroll up. But I guess if the file isn't long enough, that might be an issue. We should run this one and see what it says at all times. So right now it's finding 2 errors. It's saying assert exhaust. So they're both from this one, right? Yeah, these are the 2 errors. This is the solution. I don't think there was a way to fix this one, was there? It's clear from the game instructions what you're allowed to do. Like, is it clear that you can only play with the things like typing to make it fail? You can do whatever to make it fail. Is there another way though to make it fail that isn't the intended 2 ways? I don't think so. Hint below. Now you don't see it immediately. You have to really choose to scroll down to get it. I think that's a good way of doing it. We can change the game instructions if it's not clear, but I think make the compiler catch this mistake, that someone adds a value to our enum. Someone have just added the blue value to the file, to the enum, color enum. If they're called 1 and 2 even, we could go and say, that they build on top of each other, sort of, right? Yet again, in another instance, or should we make a whole nother enum? What do you guys think? I mean, it's fairly much the same. What else has about 3 values and is enum of feel type? Apart from colors. We'll keep it to the blue for now, unless I get a better idea. Left, up, down, right. Yeah, directions. That's good. That's good. Directions. That's good. Great suggestion. Thank you, Will Bevan. And welcome to the stream. Up, right, down. We'll choose the counterclockwise things from HTML and CSS. Tuning in and out. That is fine. Okay, so direction. Oh, but this should also look as different as possible, shouldn't it? So here we should actually use if statements instead to make it as different as possible, while still having the same sort of solution. Up, right, down, well, D equals. Here, up. Like, if I'm a beginner, do I just go to toString and add, oh, color red, not color green. Throw exception. If you throw exception, I mean, okay, yeah. But that doesn't make the compiler error. That's sort of the point, right? That wouldn't make the compiler error. That would make the runtime error. And that's why I think there are no wrong ways to make it fail. What you could do in the first one is use types, right? Return type. Then you've solved the first one without solving it in the intended way. I assume the solution is to give toString a return type. Yeah, it is in this one it is. In the first one it is to use, this is sort of the hint. I mean, you have this function here, you have to make use of it. But yeah, the second one is the return type. Science has just discovered a new direction which we have added to our code. Let's say it's left, right? That's the one I omitted, yeah. A new direction, left, which we have added to our code. However, it's always good to have some howevers in there. However, in our excitement, we forgot to add it to the toString function. Can you make the compiler catch this mistake using only what's in the file? Try to put a little bit of humor in there. If people don't like it, they'll read it once and then they just will skip the first one. So I don't think that's intrusive. Let's call this one 2 and this one 1, so that you can see in the file what you're doing. We forgot to handle it in the 2, yeah, that's better. However, we forgot to handle it in our, what do you suggest? B, okay. Bike shedding the description. I don't know what bike shedding is. Is that like bison shaving? Yak shaving? Bike shedding. I've never heard that before, I don't think. We could not make this one error, right? That's the conclusion. Really? What do you mean really? It's a classic. Classic what? What does it mean? Now you're just holding out, guys. It's not fair. Bike shedding is where you spend too long discussing the unimportant things. I think that's the same as yak shaving though, right? It's spending a long time doing everything but the thing that you're supposed to do. Bikeshit.org. What's on there? Oh no, it's saying it's not secure. I don't dare go there. Isn't yak shaving when you continually come across new things to do? Similar, but it might be subtly different. When I say yak shaving to people, I mean that just spending a long time doing something that's not the thing you're supposed. It's basically procrastination, right? Okay, so we have. Let's bike shit about the difference between bike shitting and yak shaving. That is perfect. That's how we want it. Well, I mean, the advantage of streaming is, or of watching a stream, is that you can interact with people. That's sort of what's fun about it. Like, otherwise you're just watching me sit here in silence and write some fairly straightforward code, hopefully. So I would like here to be sort of a hard exercise where it's not clear what to do. I guess having already explored fairly thoroughly the 2 ways we can exploit reachability, it might be difficult to make a hard exercise. But if we could have something that looks sort of something that looks like real code and is not obvious what's wrong. Gotta go eat. Yeah. You're welcome back later. Have a bon appetit. Good appetite, I guess. So if we can make something here where it's not obvious to humans what is wrong, that would be awesome. That would be the coolest thing. Like we should have many functions, only one of which is erroneous, and not tell them which one. We'll call it hard so that everybody knows. Yeah, use the compiler to find the error. Can you use the compiler to find the error? More inclusive, more better. we didn't have a blank line here. We have an issue. One of the, I feel like I'm doing the others, the flip side of the advent of code, where I'm designing the exercises this time. It's actually quite fun. One of these functions is failing for some reason. Yeah, we need you. We need your help. Okay, and if we could also make it sort of a pun on something that actually, a failure that actually happened in real life, that would also be awesome. So we need the export this thing in all the files to make them not interfere with each other. Yeah. Maybe I should put this at the very top to show that it's like the exercise hasn't started yet. That sort of makes more sense, right? Because I really don't want people to get distracted by this thing. It's literally just there so we can have multiple files. Can you use the compiler to find the error? Okay. And once you've solved the other ones and see that it's reachability, you should know what to do. So we'll have some enums. Does it need to be enums? It doesn't actually need to be enums. So actually we could, in here, if we're changing two things at once, that might be confusing, mightn't it? Ooh. But we could do it the other way. Nah, I guess switch goes well with enums. This could be, what I'm thinking is we can make it from string to direction. That would work too. If we just define the type directions equals, but is that too TypeScript specific? It probably is. Let's just keep it as it is. Yeah, let's keep it as that. I don't have a good idea for like a huge difficult example. I guess we should have just multiple enums. With multiple values. And maybe we'll have a default case somewhere. Function. Which could be super annoying. Foo. Let's just start by coding something. Switch. We'll have enum A. We can always rename, right? Naming is important once we know what we're doing. And currently we're just playing case, so this takes an A of some sort. Switch on the A, it has the cases T1, T2. I guess these could be called A1 and A2, then we know where they're from. Until we get going, let's give them a few more values. A1 colon return something. We'll have a default one, something else, A.A1. So this one could be the one erroring, but it's not. We'll have some other thing. This could be time. What's it called when something is a measurement of, like a measurement of time? What's that called? Time. Second. Minute. hour, week, or day, I guess is first. Unit, time unit, yeah, great, thanks. You two have the same color for me, so it looked like one of you just posted it twice. But on closer inspection, there are two of you. Did you change, Jens, did you change account again? Month, year. Should these be all uppercase? I guess so. 2 upper. Ooh. Time unit, good. So here we can say convert to time. Convert time. So we'll have T, which is a number. Then we'll have the U1, which is a time unit. And we'll have a U2, which is also a time unit. The chat is shadow banned every time I switch connection. Shadow banned, jump to mobile connection. Really convenient. I don't even understand that message. But you were on another account when we started, weren't you? Started this stream. Okay, so if the unit, how do we do this? How do we calculate what the actual time is? So this is the from unit to unit. I can write, but no one can see. Whoa, okay. That's scary. There's a Discord apparently. Interesting. Okay, so T, if, it's sort of like if, from, and to is the same thing, but I guess we gotta do all of the variations to be super cool. If from unit equals to unit, then return T. How complicated can we make this for TypeScript, I guess, is one of the questions. If this one is equal to, if this one is less than, I kind of want to say, while this one is less than, but then we're relying on the fact that they're numbers, which we don't want to do. If from is seconds, second, and to, well, if from unit is seconds, then we know we need to multiply T by 60. No matter what, because that's the next unit up, and they're not equal. And maybe I should paste the solution right now to make sure that I cover all the... I'm gonna write it the correct way first, and then I'm gonna mess it up. Is the way I'm gonna do this. Give me this function, please. Exhausted from unit. Here. Is the direction an invariant? How do you mean that direct from and to? Like you could call convert time in both directions, right? I mean the from, oh, you mean if this one is greater than this one? Ah, yeah, I guess you could say that. So what would be the, yeah, so then we don't know that we, well, if from is seconds, we still need to go up, right? Because we could never go down. Like 2 is minutes, so 2 is in this set. If from is at this point. 4 weeks to, yeah, but we haven't messed that up yet. Otherwise, if from is minutes, So now T is in minutes. Oh, sorry. What's it saying? It's time unit. It's not assignable. Oh, here it doesn't say what we're missing yet. Interesting. Interesting. Could convert 4 weeks to minutes. I was noting it preemptively before you mess it up. Thank you, Transpiler. It's very nice of you. It's an example, so per definition, I can't mess up. So if time unit is minutes, then it could be from minutes to seconds. In which case, this would be not good. Oh, I know what we can do. I know how we can solve this. And also use reachability a little bit, I think. If from is in seconds, then nothing. Oh, I can't have an empty one. That's right, TypeScript disallows that now. Sort of annoying. So if it's minutes, hours, day, week, month, year. So here we can say T, if it's in years, then to convert it to month, we multiply it by 12. If it's in months, then we multiply it by, we don't want weeks. If it's in months, then we multiply it by, we don't want months either, I can tell already. 365. If it's in days, to get it in hours, we multiply it by 24. If it's in hours, if it's in hours, we multiply it by 60. If it's in minutes, we multiply by 60. And then we get something here. So what did we remove? Months and weeks and months. So now this should be good. We are exhausted, right? Oh, but it's like we haven't done anything yet. So we need to extract this into its own function where we say convert to seconds. Here. But then we also need to, you need to handle leap years. Why do I need that? And leap seconds. Yeah, you guys are trolling, are you? Will not do it. I refuse. So here, we need to also update the time unit. From unit now is equal to time unit dot days. I'm very curious if it can actually figure this one out. And also I realized that I've lost all hope of actually porting this to Java probably. We'll make it first and then we'll make it nice afterwards. Sort of a mantra. Second, this is minute, this is hour. Return T. It is exhaustive because we deleted it. What if I add week now? Then it does see it. That's really cool. Why did you remove weeks? 52 weeks in a year, 7 days in a week. Oh, right, weeks work. You are right. Are there 52 though? Is that not just an about 52? This be 7. If you like this show, try something else. Oh, it says, oh yeah, keep notifications on. That makes sense. Yeah, so I feel like actually this is a pretty good, this one is good because it's quite complicated to figure out when you just look at it. If we add a value like months to this one, yeah, and you can also do a return value. Yeah, let's not leave this hanging around because that suggests what the solution might be. We have this one with default. It does figure out that it's exhaustive here. Can we do something else with time? That would be cool. I guess not, right? What else do people do with time? Or some other unit that would be interesting. What if you call it with arguments in the other direction? Well, now we remove the direction. I guess we don't care. The code doesn't work then. They waste it. What else do people do with time? They waste it. Ah, right. Yeah, I simplified it because this has the effect that I wanted. It's too complicated to sort of figure out. Or, I mean, you lose the overview quickly as a human, but the compiler won't get confused, which is nice. So probably, likely what this exercise will be us adding month here and then having the compiler find it by either putting return types on everything. That's a little bit slow. So instead you can just say which thing you expect to be exhaustive. Yeah. Is there something else cool we can do with it, with reachability? It's really unfortunate that we can't make it error for an infinite loop. You can definitely do that in Java. It does not allow unreachable code. So why does this one? Let's get rid of this file. Expired. Like, why is there no locals, parameters, implicit return, fall through in case? It's none of these, right? Yeah. Well, nothing to do about that, I guess. Let's move on to the next type of thing. Definite assignment 1. Actually, did you guys know underscores are easier to read for people than camel case? So for test cases and stuff like that, you should definitely use underscores instead. I guess now we're starting something where we're using uppercase letters. Might as well do that early then. In TypeScript, it doesn't matter. In Java, it's gonna matter. What are you saying? To. Skeptical, Definite assignment 1. So, definite assignment from C to Java and back. How do you mean from C to Java and back? So definite assignment has 2 variants. It has the one where we have a class with a read-only field. Actually, it doesn't work with just a field. Private A is a string. Yeah, it's being like, has no initializer. But I don't think it does that in Java. So we are gonna say read-only because that's more general. That works in both languages. Constructor here, A equals value. This.a. Camel case hat. Can't read that. The Dr. Lambda. Yeah. Yeah, I know I did it wrong with my name. Naming things using underscores. Much prefer that way as well, but code bases are products of history, and renaming everything is frowned upon. I mean, I wouldn't recommend you do it in the main library of your code. You should follow conventions there. But for tests are rarely, if ever, called directly. So they can have whatever name you want. You're only going to write it as the name and use it as the name. So really that's more of a documentation thing. So you should name them in the appropriate fashion for humans to read them, because that's what they're going to be used for. They should also be 40 times longer. It shouldn't be a problem because because you're never going to write them. The writing is why we have short function names. Look at this guy, assuming we write tests. Of course you use the compiler to find all your errors, don't you? Like a good guy. Okay, let's see, definite assignment. Okay, what can we use definite assignment for? We can use it to make sure that we have assigned something. No, I use the customer. I've seen a couple of ways of naming tests, like input given, input should, post, yeah. I've seen those as well. I've done them a lot too, where it's like given, when, then. But I'm not sure. Given, when, then is a good structure for tests. I don't think for naming it's good. I like to give them the area of the code first, then the thing that sets this test apart, and then the expected output in the name directly, with a quick turnaround time of 4 to 7 weeks. Any preferences? There was a guy who did an exposition of different ways to name tests that I really liked, but I can't remember the reference right now, or what his name was. So definite assignment also works for locals. If I say, let's just do the quintessential halting thing, where we say n is not equal to 1. We do if n modulo 2 is somewhere around 0, then we do n divided by 2. Otherwise, we'll do, let's say, 3 times n plus 1, or something like that, you know, not super important. N will be the input, n number. Here we can say let t equals, let t be a boolean, t equals, how do we test this? Does t need to be set in the loop? What if I do something simpler and just say n modulo 2 equals 0, t equals even? Yeah, okay, so that's not a boolean, but I mean true then. So here, can I console log t? No, because it's used before it's assigned. Yeah. Good, so with a quick turn, oh yeah, I read that already. This one I feel like we might need, so let's do a halting.ts, because this is just as halting as it gets. Function katas. That's the guy who came up with this one. And as we know, naming things after the programmer is also a good naming strategy. Let's grab this one as well, just so we don't risk scope accidentally overflowing here. T is not always assigned in this case. Is there a way where we can create something where it is definitely always assigned, but the compiler cannot initially see it, but we can teach it to it? that would be like doing like a, what if we do actually katas here and return false? Does this get type Boolean? It does get type Boolean, so it does know that if it gets there, then it's a Boolean. So I cannot make it think it's not returning. Interesting. Interesting. Foo. So we can make one example where we can use definite assignment is when we do our enforce sequence refactoring that we do in the book, where you make sure something has happened before something else. So that is one way to ensure something has been assigned, for example. Maybe we should do that. Maybe that's our definite assignment test, is doing, so we have, then we should have one value that needs to be called before something else. So if we have a global variable here called map, for instance, which should be, it's not super important. Let's just say, let's say it's a dictionary. And we have a translate word here that takes a word, which is a string, and then it says return dictionary on W. Oh, I didn't, yeah. I need to say equals. What's it saying? Explicitly has type any. Yeah, that's bad. It needn't have that. We should instead say this is something that binds from words to translated words. So now this is good, except it fails on runtime right now. Maybe we should actually show that it fails on runtime. Let's call it something fun, right? Why not? Ironically, cool though would be translated to cool. I think that's funny. Node definite assignment. How much is it gonna want me to write? It's definitely gonna want me to write it correctly. What? We're still running it, right? Found 0 things. Good. So compile it then. Can I reveal in File Explorer? It's gonna show up. Cult. Ah, yeah, I guess you could translate it like that too. Oh, we're in the wrong folder, obviously. Obviously. CD TypeScript. Then this would be the command I just wrote. Yeah, I mean, okay. Wait, why didn't it fail? Oh, because JavaScript doesn't fail, it gives undefined. Ah, yes. Does it say? It doesn't say that it gives undefined. Huh. Because this says that for everything, it gives a string. Interesting. Now you guys are suggesting weird translations, I can see it. We're not gonna do any of those. It's more fun my way, guys. Oh, I guess actually choosing a word with the in it would be sort of interesting for people who are not Danish. Okay, then we have function initialize. here, Initialize Dictionary here, which would take this one and put in some values. What if this is literally not initialized? Then it errors, right? Surely it must error. Yes, good. Good, that's good. Whoops. So now here we can say en to dk is a map from cool to afkøle, and from great, good, awesome, decent, decent? Is this decent? If someone can check me on that, that would be great. Great, cool, good, decent, awesome, excellent, brilliant, masterful. So this, okay, I can't spell in Danish. This would be the same, right? Good. Could good be ægte, really? Is decent not, does it not mean, you know, good? I can feel already now that I have to let this be up to chat. So if you have good suggestions for any of these ones, post them. We'll accept them straight as they are. How can decent be beklædt? I don't understand. Is descent and decent spelled in the same way? Or is it like this? Decent. So now if we call this one first, then there's no error. But if we don't, then there's an error. Are you decent? Means, are you dressed? Oh, I guess, yeah. In this chat, no anglais. In the right context. Oh, isn't that a cool thing to say? This is like this in the right context. If you define some context, some obscure context, everything means anything. Okay, whoa, we blew through the first hour. That went quick. Is the title still weird? Can someone refresh the page and see if the title is weird? Or if someone fixed it? Excellent. Ooh, that's a good translation for excellent. We are making the new Google Translate, guys. We have been working on this Google Translate. Maybe I shouldn't. On some competitive, competitor for the popular. Gotta get them. Oh, yep, that one is good too. For the popular, what's a funny play on words here? Oculus. I kind of want to stop it here, but I mean, is it a little bit too on the nose? What's it called? The other one. Yeah, we can't do. We can't do Babel Dolphin, right? Because it's too close. Oculus Dictionary, sure. The popular Oculus Dictionary translation software. However, developers keep forgetting to initialize the dictionary. Start sentences with however. That's how you become popular. Developers keep forgetting to initialize the dictionary before calling it. Can you make the compiler catch? Can you catch this mistake? I mean, no reason to reinvent the wheel. We've already found a way of saying that works. So how do we want the solution to be? Now we've made the exercise, let's make the calling it resulting in is a bad way to start this. So it crashes when we run it. That way it shows that people can run this code and it will crash. Here, good. Initialize. It's already blurred out. So there are two ways to do this. We can make the dictionary into, well, we have the external way and the internal way. Which one are we gonna do first? You guys still looking up Word? We are still missing awesome and great. If you can find words with weird letters in them, that would be cool. So externally, can you use external? Can you use, how do we say that? How do we force people to do the external way and the other way? Is there even a difference between them? No, there isn't. Definite assignment though means that it is the internal way necessarily, but type checking would mean it's the other way. This mistake using internal such what? I mean, that's the oldest expression in the book. Using internal, ensuring, catch this mistake. Well, there is pretty much one way to do this. It is to make a class. It's to encapsulate this in a class, right? That's what it is. Instead, and take it as an argument here, I guess. Yeah. So the external way would be to take this as an argument. The internal way would be to add this, to encapsulate this one in the class directly. This mistake. Can we somehow, it needs to be, I think this is too abstract. This is supposed to be the easy one. So we sort of need to tell people that they need to encapsulate, translate Word in a class. Can we make the compiler? Maybe we should do the hint thing again. hint below, encapsulate translate word in a class. Because that way we can say class. Oh, I guess that's still not, it's not, the compiler is not erroring, it's just impossible to do it wrong. Can you make it impossible to make this mistake in the future? Your hint below is more like solution below. Well, I mean, just encapsulating it in a class is not enough, right? Even if we do class ready here, move that one down, get rid of that one. Here, this hasn't solved it yet. What solves it is the fact that the constructor then, to call this thing, calls Initialize Dictionary. Now it's impossible. And also we would then be able to isolate this thing, which is much nicer. Everything just gets nicer if we do this refactoring actually. Is it too clear? Can you come up with a better hint? I'm open to suggestions if you think it's solution below is too, if this is too solution-y. Utilize a constructor, is that a better hint? It's more abstract, right? Use a constructor. Which one do you like more? Encapsulate or use? Use a constructor, it's fairly clear that you need to do a class, but it's not clear that you need to encapsulate translate word. Maybe we should do two hints. Maybe we should just do both, right? Another hint below. Here, here. So that way we definitely have enough hints in this one. I really don't want people to get stuck. Right? I really want them to have a feeling of success. What is 42 times 69? Hint, the number after. Yeah, good one. Maybe just use classes. Class, just one class, right? Did I give the solution? No, but I might as well have. Well, but I don't mind giving the solution, because if people want to read it, that's clearly because they had trouble figuring it out. That's what it's the worst thing in programming is when you're stuck and frustrated and have nowhere to go to move you forward. And I don't want people ever to be stuck permanently or in this annoyed state. If it was make sure dictionary is always initialized, then people would put initialize into translate word. Interesting. Yeah, I guess they would. But that's super inefficient. Can I do something where it's only allowed to be assigned once? I can't, right? That's not how that works. That would be fun though if I could do that. Multi-level hints could be a good idea. Yeah, I think we're gonna stick with this one. Definite assignment 1. So then we have type checking as the other way to solve this exact same thing. Type checking. Do you think mentioning classes is a fine idea? Add if undefined, then initialize to the translate word. Why, transpiler? Singletons in TypeScript. in general, I'm actually against singletons. I don't think they're a nice feature. I mean, they could do that as a solution. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Can you make it impossible to make this mistake in the future? This is the exact same exercise, but this time it's categorized as type checking instead. So here, the solution is to add a parameter, I guess. And then, well, I mean, it's still use a constructor, but here it's add a parameter to, what was it called, the function? Translate word. And the parameter is sort of your ticket that you've done it. It should be called type checking. 1. We are breezing through this. And so just for completeness, let's show what the solution actually is. I think chat has had enough time to figure it out. Otherwise, sad. Sad for you, man. Are ready. Boom. Now you cannot satisfy this type requirement without having called ready. Which means it no longer errors. Which is a neat little trick using the type checker. This is the closest actually we can get to ensuring that a value is not null in Java, for instance, that doesn't have it built into the type system. The only thing we can do is make some class that will ensure that you've at least, thought about it, right? You've put it into a constructor, so it's definitely not null. I think that's the closest we can get, unless they added it to Java and the newest version or something. Okay, the other thing I want to do in definite assignment, let's get rid of this file because it's an artifact. Let's keep this. The other thing I want to do is to utilize the non-empty list trick. I think that's a neat thing, and I don't think a lot of people have seen it, so it makes sense to show it to them. Let's get rid of this one. Yeah, we'll make the exercise first, and then we'll figure out what the description should be. Let's not do naming, not get bogged down. We have momentum. Let's keep it up. Keep it up. Okay, so what would well, we could do a function just called head, which just returns what do we return? The first value, last value. That's good. The last value of a list. Yeah, of an array of type T. Here. Boom. Is there a way that we can teach people that they can change? Well, we want to limit the scope so that they know what they can change and what they're not allowed to change, and we can sort of do that. I think TypeScript will follow C# at some point and get non-nullable types where you can add explicit nullability. TypeScript had it first, actually. How long is the stream? I think we're going for another hour, so 22:30 my time. The middle clock, 22:30. TypeScript already has that. If you say S is a string and you try to assign it null, it's gonna be like, nah bro, null is not assignable to string. Which is actually better than I think C# has. I think in C# you can assign null to strings, which is super annoying. Really annoying. In regards to most strictness, I think TypeScript is ahead of both C# and Java, probably all strictness. And ahead of TypeScript is Rust and Haskell and languages like that. Ahead of them are the dependently typed ones. And I just learned there's a new kid on the block of dependently typed languages called Lean. Super cool name. It's also by Microsoft. It feels like I'm a Microsoft guy by now because I'm such a fan of VS Code and TypeScript, which are both Microsoft inventions, and now Lean, the dependently typed language. Cool. Can you make your own classes non-nullable? Everything in TypeScript is non-nullable, unless you explicitly say it can be null. So when I sort of say in the book that it can be a problem if you're not checking for null, that's actually not the case in TypeScript, but it is in the other mainstream languages. But TypeScript, it's safe. What was I doing here? List. List has a last function, and it's a list of t, let's say. And it has, then this one is irrelevant, then it returns a last. And let's say we have a private data, which is an array. Very reasonable thing to store this as. And I guess we can just directly initialize it because TypeScript cannot have multiple constructors anyway. It's funny how, you know, Microsoft does this thing where they were like, oh, Java is a neat language. People are using it. People are happy with it. Let's make our own Java and call it C#. And then they were like, oh, what's this language? Oh, Camel, you say? People are using it. It's a cool language. Let's take it. Let's call it F#. Let's say that. Like, what? People are using JavaScript? Let's invent TypeScript then. Okay, people are using this dependently typed language called Coq. That sounds good. Let's just make it our own. Let's call it Lean. Embrace, extend, extinguish. That's cool. Is that actually their core values? It could be. That wouldn't surprise me at all. New list. How are we gonna do this? So let's make the solution first and then figure out how we're gonna do it as a problem. Node, interface. Node is something that has a, what does node have? It has a value, right? Which is a t. So node is clearly generic. If we also have, this can be last node and this can be regular node, and a regular node also has a next, which has a node. Regular node, which has a node of type t. And then we have an interface here, which is just a node. And it has the value actually. See people writing. That's a nice language we have there. Would be a shame if something happened to it, huh? Yeah, funny. Yeah, embrace, extend, extinguish was their tactic in the 90s. It still is. Lean is new, it's brand new. It's like a few years old. The phrase was used internally at Microsoft. The US DOJ did not like it. Cool. That's an interesting fun fact. I like it. Implement extends, I guess would be the keyword, node of t. And they both do that here. Cool. So the solution then is to change this to be a node of t instead. Which means this one has to take a value, an initial value, because we can never make it an empty one. And that means the data needs to be initialized to a new node, new regular node, last node. Well, I mean, in TypeScript it would just be like this. Value, value. This dot data. This dot data, like that. And then this would be this dot data dot value. Ooh, very long. This should be head instead, I guess. First is, I think first is head in the new Java stream libraries and link in C# link. I think it's called first, right? But lean is a theorem prover, so pretty niche. What is there to extinguish? Oh, I think theorem provers and dependently typed languages are gonna be a thing of the future. Like, I think once they get mainstream, once they get a little bit more complete, easier to use, a few more people are familiar with how to do them. I think like functional programming is having sort of a lot of progress right now. I think dependent types is gonna do the same thing in a few years, like 10 years, 20 years. How old is F#? Look at how old F# is to now, and then do that for lean to dependent types are in mainstream. So, what is the fun exercise to do for this? How much can we expect people to do? If this is supposed to be 2, it's supposed to be fairly easy. So we can't have it be super impossible. You sound like, this is the year for Linux on desktop. Yeah. I'm optimistic, man. I believe in the world. I believe we're moving forward. I also lost a bet fairly substantially that I made just 9 days ago about how the next 10 years were gonna pan out. So I am pretty good at predicting the future, I would say. Okay. I mean, this is a little bit... I mean, we can move arbitrarily far away from this solution, so this can be very difficult. But we don't want to move too far away. We want it to be fairly clear. Maybe we just say you introduce another one of these that has a value. And remove, well, yeah, so this could be null in one case. So actually, if we just move this down here, then that sort of, now it could be, see, well, it catches it now. That's the problem, right? I think languages need to be a little less verbose than Rust to be mainstream. Handling lifetimes of values is not that ergonomic. Yeah, I agree that it should be nicer. I think the same can be said about most advanced features of languages. Like, there is a very nice way to write up all of this in types, but this is pretty verbose. And in Java, you'd have to put these in different files. It's super verbose in the end. There are very neat ways to condense stuff like that. I think for type systems that are dependent types, you can do pretty dense things if the libraries are complete enough. And Lean has something very much going for it that Coq never had, and that is it can handle input and output, which is also something that a lot of people in industry find important. Another thing it has going for it is it compiles to JavaScript, and as we know from Atwood's law, everything that can be written in JavaScript will eventually be. Lean is an example of that. So there are many things going for Lean. I think it's going to be an interesting language to keep an eye out for. But it is very difficult to learn, don't get me wrong. Dependent types are hard to learn, and that's why they're not mainstream yet. See, but now there are so many ways this will catch you. You cannot possibly not do this correctly now. I mean, anything you, yeah, I mean, this is, I know this is the whole point, but it's so hard to fuck this up. Wait. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, see, there's no way to not get the exact correct implementation. Like, the compiler will save you every single time here. You cannot, you have to make so many, like, for anyone who know about the theory of error correcting codes or something like that, we have this measure for how many bits do you need to mess up in the checksum for, or in the data for the checksum not to help us. And here it's like, you have to change so many places just to find the minimal way to fuck up and get an error. Something like Python without list comprehension, with braces and typing and a fast VM, would probably explode. You are describing TypeScript, aren't you? It feels very much like you are. If I remove all the good features, such as not having types. Not a fan, they're a mess for anything not trivial. Alright, oh sorry, did I say something bad? I apologize if I did. I got excited. It's a very, type theory is a very exciting topic, I feel like. Trying to predict what programming will do in the next 10 years is important. List, okay. List here, yeah, so you can't, like, 5. This is what I want people to come up with. Declared but never, I mean, it's used right here. Oh, this is a node directly. Oh, we don't even need this one. Add. And this will be prepend an element. T would be data equals value, comma, this should be called value, comma, next colon this dot data, this dot data. Here, next is not assignable to type node. May only be known properties. Next does not exist. Okay, interesting. Nested comprehensions, etc., are completely unreadable for macro. I don't like the V8. What did you not like about Node? Node is cool. Okay, so how do I define that this is a regular node? I guess for that I need it to be a class. That's a little bit annoying. But I guess if that's what's needed. And that's what I gotta do. Has no initializer and is not initialized in the constructor. Yeah, so we need a constructor here. Oh, I guess then the constructor can just define. Oh, they can't be private, can they? Because they're in the interface. Public value t, public value next, or public next node of t. Here. Then we can say new node with value and next being that. So now can this fail now? No, this can't fail now. Now this can fail here. So Yeah. You can make fancy websites, but I really wish you couldn't. What? I think JavaScript is a tragedy. No, come on. I want it to run. I don't want to run a super app browser that can do anything it wants on my device and have insight or control. But that's a, I mean, it's sandbox. It doesn't have full control. It's getting better. With each version of ECMAScript, it's getting better, and I still think it's a good next level. We have something working, let's just work to improve it. Let's not scrap everything and invent something new. Let's get the best out of it. Data, this data value. Yeah, so now this is a problem. So what could we... Like, is it too much to expect that people can infer this data structure? Yes, it probably is, isn't it? Well, let's just give them the data structure then. Why don't we? Node, and then have the last node that we had before. Implements constructor, takes a public value t. So we'll give them the data structure here, value t, but we won't use it. We'll use an array. So then it's a fairly big hint that they're supposed to use that one. Data 0. This.data equals... Is there a prepend thing in JavaScript? I don't think there is. Value ... this.data. Has no initializer, yeah, so that's bad. So we'll do it like this. Now, if you realize that you need to change this, let's call this a non-empty list. Let's call this last node, regular node, yeah, sure. I'm not sure we'll scrap anything and make something new, but I really think the EU is going to enact a bunch of laws in the next decade, making sure Western internet is not owned by a bunch of giant American companies, such a cheerful thing. I think that's that is difficult. That is definitely difficult. Yeah, I don't think that's something I'll comment on here. Okay, so the hint really is use the non-empty list instead of the array. And then when you do that, you have to change here, add something to the constructor. You have to change this thing, which might be a little bit difficult. And then you have to change this thing. Yeah, I mean, there is no hint needed here because there is really no way to not do this correctly, I feel like, once you know this. What do you guys think? Do you agree? Is this clear enough? I feel like it's pretty difficult to make the mistake here. And the cool thing is that really this is what messes you up when you try to do it incorrectly, because when you change this type, there is no way for you to supply neither a last node or a regular node at this stage. And you have to initialize it, so you have to do it in the constructor, which means you have to give it a value, which means you have to add a value here, and which catches this one, which then catches that one, that first. Here, because this would error, right? Hopefully, I'm hoping. Node definite assignment 2. Undefined, yeah, that's almost an error. What did we do last time to make an error? Oh, we didn't. We did disinitialize that one. .toString. Oh, it's even saying, wait, what? Object is type unknown. Oh, right. String, I guess. Number. Now it does error, which is nice. That's kind of what we want. I like that it errors. Is this clear enough? I feel like it's okay. Maybe it's a little bit hard. People can figure it out. What do we call this? Reverse list? Latest list? Stack. Yeah. Non-empty stack. Is that a good name? Non-empty stack. First and prepend. Sure. You are a developer. We are in the development team, in the data structure development team. We have been working on a new do we need to say non-empty? Yeah. On a new stack implementation where you can always call first. Call the first method first. I kind of want to put these. I know they have no effect, but it sort of makes it pretty clear when something is code, doesn't it? Probably don't need a hint. You don't need to exchange the representation, just debug and implement. Yeah. Oh, now this is called non-empty stack. We do this by we are trying to implement a new, we've been working on a new stack implementation that is guaranteed to be non-empty. Sure. Like we have done for the list implementation. Like we have done for the list implementation. For our non-empty list implementation. Now I don't like these anymore because we don't mention the function name. The problem is that the developers however, always use however. The current implementation fails. However, with the current implementation, it fails. Can you make impossible? Did I say that in the first one? Make it impossible. Type checking, does it also? Yes. Make it impossible to make this mistake in the future. Can you fix the implementation? Use definite assignment to fix their implementation. Is that good? Is that clear? You guys think? To fix their implementation. Not like, we have already an implementation for lists. Non-empty lists. Because I don't want people to think that they need to do something like this. I want them to think they can use it. However, the current implementation of non-empty stack fails. Can you use definite assignment to fix their implementation? I think that's pretty clear. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay. Yeah, good. So we have definite assignment and we have reachability. We would still want something that's very difficult, sort of like this one is still unfinished. Let's just unfinished. Just so nobody tries to play with it. Maybe we should make like a folder for things that are work in progress. That's probably a good idea. And then move the things in there. I don't want to lose them, I want to share them, but they're not ready to be played with. And so people would be wasting their time, and if there's something I respect, it's people's time. We should all treat each other's time with respect. Okay, good. So, yeah. Can we do one more? We have 10 minutes. We probably can't do a whole one. Can I say something about this problem here? No, I cannot. What would I say about the halting problem anyway? Nothing, right? There's nothing really to be done. It's impossible. It's proven to be very difficult. So I don't think we can do something here. Is there something else we can finish? How to play. In each file, there is an erroneous function. In each file, in each source file, there is an error. Described in the top of the file. It is your job to use the compiler, utilize the compiler to expose this error and fix it. Let's say and fix it, why not? They're not difficult to fix. I think it's fairly intuitive what you have to do to fix each instance. How to contribute. If you have a new type of, if you have ported an assignment, an exercise to another language, please specify if you want to add a new language, please make sure to just follow these steps. create a new folder for the language. Put in the folder a README file. Let's do like this. README file specifying how to compile and how to run the files, each file, the files. Good. If you want to add an exercise, simply, well, if you want to add an exercise, make a file with the erroneous, what I couldn't spell at the beginning, I still can't spell, erroneous code, add a description, add a problem description to the top of the file, submit a pull request, containing the solution, so that if someone actually submits something that's either very complicated or that is sort of unorthodox, then I can look at it and be like, oh, I see what they were going for, and possibly make it a little bit easier if it's too difficult. That's what I'm expecting, that people might submit very intelligent things, and they might need to be made a little more easy on the understanding. Follow these steps. Submit a pull request containing the solution, including specifying, sharing, that's fine. Submit a pull request. Up here, if you want to add a new language, that's fine. We also need to abide by this ourselves. We don't have a README file in here. TypeScript. Let's see what we call the other thing here. Compiler katas. There's no install on the top level because we don't know which one they've chosen. TypeScript, I think with a capital S is actually correct. How to install, how to run, how to, what was the other thing I said? Specifying how to compile and how to run. How to compile, how to run. How to install, specifying here, we'll have, don't do that, this one. How to compile, how to run the files, how to compile the files. Not actually, just files. How to compile files, how to run files, and how to set up the tools needed. These are full sentences, so we'll end them with a full stop, and that means we start them with an uppercase letter. There are many conventions for this, I think, but I think this one is fine. How does it look? That looks good. That's what I expected, at least. How to install TypeScript. That's pretty easy. How to compile a file. Let's just do the minimal possible thing. The easier we make this to copy, the better. So how to compile, we just say tsc file. Boom, that's it. That's how you compile it. How to run it, we just say node file.js file.ts, file name. And that's it. Now we just need to specify how to install TypeScript. I think you can do that by downloading. Don't I have this described somewhere? I think it's on the, where is it? On my blog? I definitely have something like that. How your first TypeScript program, that's the, what? There, that's the exact one I was thinking of. What am I saying? Get the tools, Node.js, TypeScript, boom, that's it. Verify the installation. Oh, that's so nice. That is what we want. Here, by running the command, we have to specify the command ourselves, it seems, tsc-version. tsc-version should give a number. Just link to the article. Well, I want this to be easy to copy for other people to add new languages. And I don't want them to think you have to write a full article first. So this is just to make it a little bit easier. Node.js, download the latest version, boom. Otherwise, I agree. Go through the installer, verify the installation by opening PowerShell or another console and running the command npm-version. Here, good, TypeScript, open PowerShell and run. I'm writing PowerShell inconsistently. Run the command npm install-g TypeScript. This uses Node's package manager. How's that formatted? Can I mean, okay, that's fine. This uses Node's package manager, npm, to install TypeScript compiler globally. Boom. That's a good explanation. Verify the installation by running. I think that's pretty clear. How to install -- on Windows. Oh, so many nestings. You are right though. I don't know how to do it on other platforms. I don't know how to do it actually. Ubuntu, would that just be apt get Node? npm? Node.js? I don't know. Hopefully someone will pull request me if they think this is a fun type of exercise. But I think it's fun. I mean, the usual thing I do when I make exercises like this is ask myself, do I like doing them? Are they fun? And I think they are fun. I like it. I think they're nice. If they're on Linux, they should be smart enough to figure it out for themselves. For Linux, replace PowerShell with terminal and then that's it. Yeah. I think this is good. I think this is reasonable. And I think they're fun. And we are actually right on time. So now we should push this gh repo compiler katas. And let's see what it says. GitHub, my GitHub, let's go. Repos, there it is. Compiler katas. What? Did we make the Git repo in the wrong place? No. What? Ah, my God. Well, I mean, so annoying. Let's delete this one. I'm not even logged in. Can I do git remote -vv? There are no remotes. Git add remote. Git remote. Add that one. origin. Just force push, yeah, I'm gonna do that. Git add dot git commit -m initial commit git push -- close your eyes, kids. This is not safe for work. I should have at least used force with least, sorry. That would have been prettier. Let's see. Good. Nice. Language and exercise. There's some formatting in this, isn't there? If you want to add an exercise, want to add a new language, that will make these bold. I guess actually, let's just continue the theme of deeper and deeper nestings. An exercise, a language. Yeah, cool. In each source file, there is an error. Your job is to utilize compiler to expose this error and fix it. Boom. I think that's good. So now I can click into TypeScript and it'll tell me how to do everything. I guess that one could be formatted better. The devil is in the details. We want this to be as professional as possible. People might read it. Disaster. Okay, git commit am minor formatting. That's a bad commit message, but it will do. Windows. Oh, is it a name? I mean, yeah, it is a name. It is a name. How does it look? Yeah, better. So that's the only thing right now. Okay, that's fine. Let's push that then. Not up there. Git commit am Windows is capitalized. Git push. Good, cool, thank you guys. Thanks for all the help and all the fish. Okay, I mean, I can't see the scene. It's in the right scene now. That's gonna do it for tonight, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I've had fun. I hope you have as well. And I hope you tune in and check out my regular YouTube channel. And I hope I see you back here on Manning's channel some other date. Have a very good night, guys, and a good weekend.